Live well and thrive. The future of wellness starts here. The movement transforming health and wellness worldwide. Live longer, move smarter, feel unstoppable.
Hi, it's Mike Torchia, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest, Sean McNabb. You probably remember him from Quiet Riot and many other bands. He is the most incredible guy. Not only is he super cool, but he's also into fitness like I am. So I'm digging to talk about music and fitness today.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
So when did you first start in the music industry? Was it when you were a kid growing up?
Yeah, I started when I was 11 years old. I've been doing this a long time. I just got turned on to rock and roll at a very young age by the movie Tommy, which was by The Who. And I went to a matinee. My mom dropped me off at a matinee of Tommy, which is pretty crazy for an 11-year-old kid because it's a pretty out there movie. But I left the theater that day just going, you know what? Yeah, this is what I want to do. I didn't understand the movie, but the music just grabbed me, and that I was off and running.
I remember that movie, and it was super cool, but confusing though, but cool.
You remember Anne Margaret, don't you? Come on.
I fell in love with her.
Yeah. Dude, did you do arms today? Because, I'm feeling like, I better show some guns here, too.
Hey, you got to get guns, too,
because, man, you are really pumped. It was an arm day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did bicep, tricep today.
Yeah, looks good. You'll have to show me some stuff.
Yeah, anytime. I really isolate the muscle groups, but I also train each body part twice a week.
Okay.
See, a lot of times people say, "Oh, just train the one body part a day." That's not frequent enough. You need to frequently stimulate the tissue. So I find when I train the body parts twice a week, I have a dense, harder muscle too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can see someone has maybe big chest and arms or whatever, but they're kind of puffy.
Yeah.
See, with me,
is that creatine?
I have all the. No, I actually stay away. Well, the creatine can bloat you.
Yes, it's water.
A lot of times people take the creatine, but they don't understand to load it into the muscles. You have to have the sugar, the carbohydrate, and then that also creates the water retention.
Yep.
So, but a lot of times people are just consuming foods that are processed.
Absolutely.
And then they have this inflammation.
I couldn't agree more.
And I got to say, I've cleaned up people's diets where they basically didn't do anything different with the cardio or anything. They were just inflamed because your fat cells swell up like a woman when she has a period. She gets swollen. So if people continually inflamed, they're going to feel like shit. So I basically, what I first do when I work with someone is I actually have them get blood work. Let's understand what's going on in the body chemistry. Then we can address what your deficiencies are. Because a lot of times people go and take supplements, but you may not need vitamin D3 or DHEA or that magnesium, or you may need it. So let's figure out what you need and then supplement what you need to improve upon. So sometimes people have to just realize just because this bottle says take 1 tablet 3 times a day doesn't mean that it's for you, because you may already producing high amounts of vitamin D3, which is a hormone, and you're overdosing it, and you can create toxicity in the body. More isn't better. So I educate people to understand how the body chemistry works. But so many people out there today are just bloated, inflamed. Mm-hmm. They don't really have as much fat as they think they do. So if you eliminate the inflammation, then you kind of see, okay, yeah, well, there's a little bit of weight here. We can build a little bit over in the upper pec area. It's a little shallow or whatever, And I just find that people need to get in touch with their own self to understand that also when you eat when you're hungry and listen to your body. You'll know when you need to eat more carbohydrate or less carbohydrate, or maybe you need more protein, more roughage. Yeah. If you start getting more in tune with your body, you'll be healthier and you'll live a better quality life.
I can vouch for the inflammation thing because I just went back on keto a couple of months ago, and I was, a lot of people, we struggle with that 10, 15 pounds, and when your clothes are fitting good and you're seeing photos and you got nothing hanging over and you're looking good, right? So I also had a ton of inflammation. So I got with my nutritionist, got back on the keto, got on some exogenous, some other stuff that really blocks keeps you in ketosis. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And man, like a miracle, the inflammation's down. My neck doesn't hurt like it did, and I'm feeling much better. 10 pounds is gone, and it's just boom, just like that. As long as you're vigilant about it.
What's your typical day eating? Like breakfast, lunch, dinner? What are you eating?
3 eggs in the morning with vegetables. Usually, I'm on Ideal Protein, so there'll be a snack in between that. Shake at the gym, then the 8 ounces of protein, 2 cups of vegetables in the evening, maybe another snack. But you're going to have your cheat days.
Actually, I tell people when you have your cheat day, what happens is when you ingest high amounts of calorie and carbohydrates, the metabolism spikes and it's now burning at higher rate. So what people don't understand is like the reason why we would do the cheat day is because then the very next day your metabolism still spiked and now you've gone down back to a low carbohydrate, high protein diet. Mm-hmm. You're burning fat more efficiently. So actually when you have your cheat day, it actually helps you burn more fat. Also, when you go on a low caloric diet, your body goes into survival mode if you do it more than 3 weeks. And then your body starts secreting what the thyroid is called T3. T3 regulates your metabolism and helps you burn fat. But if it's suppressed, it won't burn fat as efficiently. In fact, when you say fast too long a period of time, or you eat really low calories, your body starts producing reverse T3, which slows down the body's metabolism because now it goes, I have to survive on less food. So it allows you to survive on maybe 500-600 calories a day because that's all you're consuming. But guess what? Now your metabolism is so slow that you're eating nothing and I'm getting fat. I don't understand. I haven't lost any weight because you're in that reverse T3 survival mode. So I tell people, pick 1 or 2 days. Usually I tell people every 4th day, increase carbohydrates and fats at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's more efficient. So I don't call it a cheat day. I call it a treat day. So every 3rd day I do this. Yeah. I add in some really good source of carbohydrate and good fats, avocado, and then I do the same thing with dinner. So if I want pasta, rice, or whatever it may be, but I always have a green vegetable because you got to move it through. And every 3 days, I feed my body additional fats and carbohydrates. And that's why I get vicious pumps. I'm full all the time. The glycogen stores are full in my muscle because I'm also stimulating the metabolism. So I'm burning more fat doing it twice a week than once a week. Because what happens is people, if they eat once a week, they tend to eat too much on that one day.
Yeah.
But if you do it every 3rd or 4th day, it's more a methodical way to do it. But man, you get vicious pumps because your glycogen stores are full right away.
Yeah.
And doing it twice a week. So I advise people to try it out because you'll enjoy it better.
And now I know I've got something for those cheat days with this exogenous that keeps your ketone levels. It regulates them, so you can eat that bread and you can do that once in a while, and it doesn't completely kill you.
It does, but and then there's supplements you can that actually diverts the conversion of the sugar to fat or actually make you waste it out. So there's some things you do with supplements that's really berberry is one of the extracts that you can use, where if you take it before you have a carbohydrate meal, you can utilize the carbohydrate from the carbs for glycogen store, and then you waste out the rest. It doesn't allow you to convert it to fat. And those supplements are very prevalent today. Yep. In fact, there's peptides out there. Have you explored?
I'm reading up on peptides.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's replacing the steroids and all these other dangerous drugs. And it's an amino compound, but it actually will help you firm up, have more strength, help stimulate the mitochondria, to stimulate.
How about energy, Mike?
Total energy. No, totally gives you totally amount of energy too. So it kind of fine tunes your body to take them next level. So peptides would be the next step for you. Yeah. If you really wanted to take your body to a whole nother level, but also peptides help you regenerate tissue and your mitochondria.
Seeing that. Yeah.
And the collagen production in your skin throughout your whole body, you start to glow. And that's why peptides is a very powerful tool to utilize.
Send me some links, Mike.
Yeah, I'll hook you up. No, I'll hook you up with the top.
Because we need energy, I'm going to turn 60 this year, and I can do an 8-minute plank, by the way.
That's fantastic.
I used to be able to do an hour plank in my I think of my early 50s. I could plank for an hour. And now I started hurting my back, so these peptides are good. I'm planking again, and I wouldn't say pain-free, but it's not killing me, but.
Have you tried the BPC 157?
No, I was just been hearing a lot about that.
Game-changing.
Really?
Those pains will go away.
No,
it helps heal. It actually, it's not like a painkiller. It actually heals the damaged area.
Yeah.
It's like a Pac-Man that goes right to the area where the injuries are, and it heals. It regenerates the tissue.
Rogan was just talking about it, right?
Oh,
okay.
Totally. I was the one that turned Rogan on to all this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
years ago.
Okay.
I was the one that started. Now he's a total believer in it,
Yeah.
the hormone replacement, the peptides and everything. So I just think that it's a powerful, safe product that you can take. But so now
we've got a really nice audience here. This just keeps getting better, Wow.
Yeah, I've got two Michelles and an L.
Great hats, cool dogs. This is good,
Oh, this is a pet-friendly show.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're a big animal lover.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share your what's in your life right now. How many pets do you have?
Well, I have two. I've got a Shih Tzu and a Pomeranian. And I lost my OG Yorkie last year, which he was just my boy, But he had a good run. He lived to 16.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and he was just that dog. He was like, I called him my little bass dog. Anytime I'd be working on music or learning stuff or whatever, you put a pillow on the floor and he'd be right there. He's just
listen to Daddy play, huh?
Yeah, and it was weird because when he was a puppy, he used to bark at it, and then it became like his muse, like it's become my muse,
I tell people if you don't have any pets, get a dog or a cat, get something, man.
Absolutely.
The unconditional love and that warmth and this is their energy is so beautiful.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, I have two pit bulls and I have two cats, and all my animals are rescued. And it's hysterical. They all, when I come home, they're all on the couch, just curled up, sleeping. Sometimes you see the cat licking the pit bull's ear. It's kind of like hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
But they all grew up together, and they were very young when I rescued them all. And the dynamic in my home is beautiful. It's like when you come home to your dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
I consider them my children.
Yeah.
Now, what about how do you feed your pets? Do you have a specific way of feeding them?
Yeah, you try to keep it interesting for them, mix it up and stuff. But it's mostly, stuff from Petco and things like that. And, they get their treats and their freeze-dried stuff. And sometimes I give them straight tuna if they've been, really good. They love that.
No, my cats love them when I open a can of tuna.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they chow that shit down.
Yeah.
Their breath stinks after it. But
Yeah. Probably goes for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's true. So tell me something. So when did you get your first big break? What was it?
Well, I my brother was a drummer, and he got me excited about music. And like I said, Tommy turned me on to The Who, and I was off and running with the Beatles and The Who and everything. And, we did that circuit band thing. I think I played my first club when I was 13. And we opened up for the regional band that was big in our area, and that started my club circuit journey. And that I did that all the way through till I was about 20. And I left school. I knew what I wanted to do. When I was a junior, I got offered a gig. This was, to go on tour, and back then, $300 to go on, $300 a week to go on the road doing what I loved and meeting women and drinking and all that stuff, at a very young age sounded very appealing to me. And we had a ball. And that led to me getting to Los Angeles in 1986, 87. And I got the gig in Quiet Riot 2.5 weeks after I got to town. And very lucky, just the right place at the right time, right look, right talent to get a gig. And I was very, very lucky. I always call it a God thing. And that was my introduction to the business, and that got me going. And was a springboard to the House of Lords, Great White, Dokken, Don Felder from the Eagles. The list goes on, and I'm still doing it. I'm really lucky to still be doing it.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Stuart Smith,
Oh, yeah.
who introduced us, told me
Great
one
man.
time, I guess it was when you first had that Heaven and Earth band, you performed in Chicago.
Oh, that was with Joe Lynn Turner from Deep Purple.
And he said that someone at the concert hall told everybody where you were staying. And it was like the Hyatt Regency. And he said that a whole massive amount of people, actually, he said you guys were banned to ever go back to Hyatt Regency again after that event. All the chicks showed up, and the whole hotel was full of people from the concert. And he told me it was one of the most hysterical times you guys had. I don't know if you recall that.
I kind of do, yes.
You probably had many of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, the party was on. I always say I survived the 80s, man. So many of my friends didn't. The 80s and the 90s were, you hear the stories, and I'm going to tell you a lot of them were true. And we did everything to excess, and we partied our asses off and had a ball, and then eventually that kind of stops working, and now I'm in my 21st year of sobriety. It's just for today, and I'll knock on wood on that because that's how we're doing it, But I really wish that a lot of my friends would have gotten that memo too, because they're gone. A lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people that are not here anymore because they couldn't get a handle on that, and it's worked for me, the 12-step program, but it's along with that comes a healthy lifestyle, like what you do, and it's heart, mind, and body, right?
Now, when you were on tour, really at the peak of your career, did you find time to train?
No, I think when we were out there running and gunning hard, I mean, I do now. I always find a hotel gym if they've got it. But most of the time you're just trying to keep up with the schedule, and if you can get it in, you can. But you're trying to eat right, and a lot of times. You're playing until you might get home at 12:30, 1 o'clock. You've got a lobby call the next morning, 5:30 or 6 to go to the next city, to fly there. And it takes a lot more energy than it ever did,
Many years ago, when Keith Urban did his last world tour, he asked me to travel with him. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the tour bus sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Those bunk beds.
Very overrated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just remember that we would go to, like we were in Germany, and it was this massive auditorium, and we would go in there, and they were prepping and doing sound check and everything. And so Keith would schedule me that immediately after he performed, we'd go right into a room where I would do deep tissue on his neck, his rhomboids all over, because playing the guitar, he's always like this. One side, he had a lot of scar tissue. So I had to break it up. And then the next morning, I would train him. And then he'd go back, and I could do whatever I want to do. So my job was to train him in the morning and then stretch him after every single performance. Because it was so important, because he was so tense like that. And then, of course, I remember when we were going to the next city, I had to be downstairs by 5:15. And the Wrangler said, if you're not down there by 5:15, we leave 5:15 without you.
Right.
And so I learned not to unpack.
That actually means 5 for 5:15.
Yeah, I always got down there. I got scared.
Yes.
So I was there 15 minutes early. I would open up my suitcase. I have everything folded nice. But it was almost like being like a fireman. Like at any time they could tell me, oh, we have to leave earlier. So I just close it up and get out. So I did that for the whole tour. And man, it was tough.
Yeah.
The leisure thing was that I had all day to train while they're practicing, but I saw what he was going through. It was incredible. I mean, he was like this. Every single part of his day was like scheduled, so I really admire your work, man.
Sound check, press, train, rehearsal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then because, especially in Germany, good luck trying to get healthy food. So I cooked.
Okay.
So I would prepare. I said, listen, Keith and Nicole, her wife was there, Nicole Kidman. I go, listen, I'll cook for you, Nicole, and her son, and myself, but I'm not going to be your short order chef.
Yeah.
And they agreed to it, right?
Okay.
So what I would do is I prepare their meals.
Yeah.
And then when we would fly to the next city on the private jet we were in, I would have the food prepared. I'd get used to the kitchen at the hotel, prepare the food, because Nicole is a vegetarian, not vegan. Mm-hmm. So she has fish and eggs and things like that, and vegetables and so on. So I remember her son loved baby lamb chops. And I'm a really great cook. So I made these beautiful, tender.
Was that hard as a vegan to do that?
Well, I'm not a vegan.
Oh.
I mean, but she's a vegetarian, but she knew her son wanted to eat protein, and she wanted her son to have whatever way of eating. Mm-hmm. So I would prepare. And then Keith was like me, basically high protein, So it was fun, but man, I mean, for years to go on tours like that, it must have taken a lot out of you, man. Mentally, physically, and emotionally,
He seems like a really good dude. I met him maybe twice, but he seems like a really centered kind of guy. I think we're kind of neighbors up there on Coldwater.
Yeah, they're really great people. It's so funny. So I remember the first time when we were doing a concert in Australia, and Keith goes, I need you to double for me. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, mate, we're the same height. I said, well, we don't look alike. He goes, no, but that's okay. So he basically gave me that kangaroo logo hat that he always wears, and he gave me a hoodie. He says, so what you're going to do is you're going to walk out the back to the limo and keep your head down. Right. I'm going to go out of the front with a disguise on, right? So sure enough, he goes down. Nobody even knew he was going, because they never expect you to go in the front, right? So I go in the back, and there was a sea of chicks. Just a sea of women screaming, Keith, Keith, Keith. And they're grabbing they took my hat. They're trying to rip the hoodie off me. And the driver opened the door, and I just dove in.
Did they figure out it was a decoy?
Well, then two girls jumped in behind me, and the driver took off. And the girls tore my clothes off. So shredded my shirt. I go, I'm not Keith. Yeah, but you're with Keith. So, of course, we went back to the hotel. And then I got a message from Keith. He goes, can you come to my suite? Please. And Nicole was there. She had just flown in. And he goes, so how'd it go? I heard you had an interesting experience. I said, Keith, if I knew this was like this to be a musician, I would have never lifted a weight in my life. I would have just played the piano, played the guitar, practiced singing. Oh my God, what I missed. Right? Because now I understand why a lot of people do it, because I felt like Elvis Presley. Yep. It was crazy the way they screamed and they were obsessed. It was like absolutely amazing. And then throughout the whole tour, I'm just standing there. And Keith sees like three girls around me hitting on me, like, where are you going later? And he goes, Mike, just because you're around me, they want to know you because they think you can get to me, right? Right. So it was just to experience that for months. Yep. I felt like a rock star. So I understand that high you had all those years because it's empowering. Yeah. But I was never into drugs. So to me, I was just eating clean, and I'm a fitness guy. But I understand why many people pursue music, because that's an incredible feeling. I mean, besides performing and doing a beautiful job, but the way, that fans are, I mean, it's like an obsession.
Yeah, that's a percentage of it. There's a a whole bunch of other people that never get to that level, and and they're okay with that. It's more about the art than it is the stardom, or and I can respect that too.
So if you had to give the advice to a young person that wanted to pursue music like you, what would you give them? What little guidance you would give them?
Well, the business has changed so much, We used to sell records, we made records. I tell young guys now, we we made records. They don't exist anymore. They're trying to make a comeback. But I would just say that do it because you love it, not to be famous. Don't do it because you want to be famous. Do it because it yearns in your heart, and it turns you on and gives you that satisfaction that music does. But don't do it to be famous. There's so many people, that just, I just want to be famous. I just want to be famous. I don't care how. It's LA. We see that all the time. It's I think you have to be passionate about something, and it's very easy to see the people that are actually passionate about things and people that just want to be famous, in my opinion.
Well, you reminded me of many years ago. I was training at Pumping Iron Gym in New York, and I happened to work out at the time with so many very famous people that weren't famous yet. And one of the people was Madonna. And she was very much into bodybuilding. She was really pretty buff.
She was, wasn't she?
And so she said, I want to be a superstar, just like she did on the Dick Clark Show and all these other shows. And so I helped her get, in those days we had cassettes.
Yeah.
And so I would give the cassette to all the DJs, because in those days I was a champion bodybuilder. I was putting on a performance on Studio 54 or Xenon's, the Red Parrot, all the underground clubs. So I knew all the DJs. So I made sure.
So you were hanging at Studio 54?
Oh, yeah, I was there. But everybody.
Nice. So you've seen some shit, too.
No, let me tell you something. Next week, I have the publicist for the Studio 54.
Really?
And we're going to share our really crazy story. When there was a sex club downstairs, the area where they were taking the bags of money. They'd have women in there just underwear counting. They didn't have the machines at the time. They're just counting it and putting the stacks. Then they would put the money in black garbage bags. Then every 3 hours, a white van would come in the back alleyway, and they'd load the money into that. It was like so much shit going on in the place. There was only one large bathroom. It was unisex. You could do whatever you want. People were on the dance floor doing blow, whatever they want to do. They shoot up in the bleachers because it was the Captain Kangaroo Studio 54. And so it was like Switzerland. Nobody cared, but nobody had cameras in those days.
That was the Captain Kangaroo stage?
That's why it's called Studio 54.
No
Captain Kangaroo Studio was Studio 54.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so at the time I was training a very vicious attorney. Roy Cohen he's part of the McCarthy trials, and he's a very vicious, not a very nice man, but he introduced me to Steve Rebell, who was one of the owners. He's passed away now. And then he introduced me to Elizabeth Taylor, Andy Warhol, and then I became a model for Andy Warhol. I did all that, so I was in that whole party circuit, right? So I was around that whole world. But whenever I was at Studio 54, Smoking Joe Frazier's coming in, Sly comes in with his brother Frankie. I mean,
Sure.
Film, music, race car drivers, everybody was there. It was like the place to be at, right? And the music.
Yeah.
In those days, that beautiful music, that disco music.
It was disco, right?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But I was exposed to a lot of this entertainment industry, but I still was like the fitness guy, So I stayed away from doing the drugs and all that. Listen, I still did shots and, a little bit. I never liked smoking pot because I go, that makes me stupid. I want to be up, right? So I was around that world, but I always admired your industry because it's really such a beautiful thing, because I can imagine what it's like, especially when you see a sea of thousands of people just like digging your music. I mean, that high.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see somebody singing one of your songs, or they come up to you after the show and tell you, that song, I got married to that, or that got me through, we were flying sorties in Iraq to your music, and stuff like that. And it's crazy stuff.
What was the largest crowd you ever performed?
Probably some of the festivals in Europe. I don't know, 30, 40,000. Yeah. Yeah.
That must have been amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully it's not over, And it's like, I think I posted about this the other day. It's whether you're playing for 20,000 people or 20, you give the same, you give everything. And, if it's coming from here, it's authentic, and you give the same amount that you would give for 20,000 to 20 people. you know.
Because you performed in small bars in the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, and I still do sometimes. You know, you take the gigs where you can get them. You know,
Yeah, it's cool.
and you know, and we play big shows too. But you know, it's as long as you're doing it with the right intention, it really doesn't matter. You know, and
Now, are you also doing acting?
yeah, I am.
Got anything coming out?
We have a movie that we wrote called Road to Terzetto. It's out on Apple, Amazon, Tubi. It's all over it's on all the streamers. We wrote this. It's a story about three brothers that get an inheritance from their degenerate gambler father, and shit goes sideways. And it's a great journey. It's an indie film. It's our muse. You know, we're super proud of it. We raised all the money. We produced it. We starred in it. We got all our favorite friends and actors in it that we liked, and check it out. It just came out on Blu-ray too, and it's on all the streamers. And you know, if you IMDb me too, I've been in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, well,
you know.
I'm doing a lot of projects. In fact, a friend of mine that's I think she's here somewhere around, Michelle Kanan. She's an Emmy-winning producer. She actually has a few movies and TV shows that she's producing right now.
Right on.
So, have you talked to her?
That'd be great. I mean, let's hope that we can get filming back in California. I'm a strong proponent of that. You know, we need these incentives to really get the stages full.
Announced something that he's increased.
Yes.
The budget for it now is for better tax credits. So,
is that supposed to happen in July or something? I'm hearing.
I think it's supposed to be pretty immediate.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good thing. I mean, I feel for not just not just the actors, but I mean, my God, all the crew people, you know, they got families to support. It's just such an industry. I've seen it go away, you know, go everywhere else but here. And we really need to keep production in Los Angeles. You know, I'm seeing a bunch of new studios being built, but let's face it, the last couple of years, the stages have been empty. You know, we got to get production here, and then we've got to get the incentives, you know, right, so that people can afford to film here instead of go to Arkansas or wherever.
Well,
you know?
This was the mecca of Hollywood. I mean, come on. And then they started getting, oh, well, we're going to go to Thailand. You're going to go to Thailand?
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to use the construction, all the crews in that country, and you're taking jobs away from people here in California that really need it.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. I know in New Jersey, they've just increased the tax credits there. Now, Mark Wahlberg partnered with Sony to open a studio in Vegas.
Yes.
But they don't want to give them the tax credits.
But they got to be better in Nevada, though, right? It has to be better.
No, they're pretty shitty. So they're not going to start building it until they get it approved. Okay. Because otherwise, who wants to film in Vegas if you have shitty tax credits?
Yeah.
Right? So there's no use to have them to build a studio. So that's been kind of sitting flat. Yeah. You know, and I know that Trump's trying to do whatever he can to stimulate the entertainment industry, so we film here. Yeah. But it's just a shame because I have so many friends that are grips and people that work, you know, the union drivers and stuff.
Absolutely, Teamsters.
And these poor guys can't keep their homes. They can't pay their health insurance.
Yeah, they're out driving Uber and stuff, you know, to make it happen.
And it's a shame, but I'm so glad you're still performing, man. It's so super cool.
Yeah, you know, I'm in two very tough businesses. You know, if the music business wasn't hard enough, I'm also in the entertainment business as an actor and a producer and a writer, and you have to be passionate about this stuff because that is the cutest dog, man. But you know, we deal with a lot of, you know, rejection and all that, and getting funding. You know how difficult that can be. Sometimes it's all about the funding and getting your project greenlit, and you know. But I'm hopeful that these incentives will help, and we can get all these crew members and actors and writers and everybody back to work here in Los Angeles. I think it's very important that it stays here.
Yeah, you know, it's something that I'm pushing for all the films that I'm producing. I've been wanting to push to keep it in LA, and let's try to figure out how to make it here. So what I've been doing is focusing on investors in California. I say, guys, we want to keep it here. Yeah. I know we could do it for less another state, but I want to feed our people. So I'm
Absolutely.
finding people now are understanding that, okay, Mike, let's do it. Because normally, when you make a movie, you only need about 30% of the equity. And then you have tax credits, incentives to help fill the rest of it,
Yeah.
But as you know, when you're raising money, they're going to go, okay, what's the international domestic value of your actors?
Yeah.
And it's got to
Absolutely.
make sense to the
Yeah.
budget. So I'm just telling people, keep that budget tight.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful, because sometimes people really pad budgets. And I'd rather you just be really smart, keep the money. Even Mel Gibson had a conversation one time at the gym. He goes, Mike, I would suggest you make a movie under $5 million. You can make a beautiful movie. All you need is one really good actor and rest good day player. Because they're not big names, but people will remember who they are. They've seen them.
Exactly.
It's under 5, so if it's under 5, you're going to make your money back, even if you get unloaded in a streaming platform.
Yep.
And even
Foreign distribution.
Sly said he won't. He's trying to do movies under 10 million. I could do great action movies with good names. I don't need A-listers for that. But again, look at Mission Impossible. Was it $350 million? It just, to me, studios maybe can do it, but if a filmmaker wants to do a movie, I encourage them, keep it under 5, keep it under 3.
Yeah.
Be smart.
A good script is a good script, and a good story is a good story. And I'm a firm believer in that. If it's not on the page, then you've got nothing. Even if you got your name in place, that's going to help you with the foreign distribution or whatever. You got to have a great script. And I find that with the indie films, the scripts are usually strong because it has to be. You know what I mean? At those budgets and things, your story has to be good. You know what I mean? As opposed to just a blasé script that has a bunch of money behind it. I'm kind of excited, actually, to see the F1 movie this weekend. I think my wife and I are going to go see it.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Saturday
see
night.
it too. I can't wait.
Hearing some mixed reviews, but hey, I'm a big Brad Pitt fan, and I hope it does really well. And I love the car racing things.
Yeah, well, and the cast is great. I mean, the whole cast.
Yeah,
it's sensational.
Javier Bardem, right?
You can't come on with that cast.
Oh yeah.
Listen, there's always going to be people that have some warped view of it for some reason. I look at it as an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Unless it's something really horrible and flat, like the sequel to Gladiator.
Didn't see it.
Good thing it wasn't that.
Okay.
Well, after seeing the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe,
yeah,
you can't. The magic was in the bottle there.
Absolutely.
They tried to do it, and it just didn't work. Yeah. They had sharks in the Gladiator Coliseum. There's no sharks in the Coliseum. Everything was like way over the top.
There was a moat with sharks in it, so you couldn't get out or something.
Yeah. It was.
Wow.
It was no. It was. It's not. It wasn't realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, like The Rock did Black Adam, which was another huge bomb with Universal, and that was crazy. Is that The Rock worked 2 hours a day? He said, "I only work 2 hours a day," because he said he had to work out. It's for a fact from a Universal executive, and he was never with any of the actors. So he'd go to the Universal lot. They'd shoot him.
Green screen.
And every scene, if you go watch Black Adam, every scene where he's talking was just his projection, his character placed into the scene.
AI. Yeah. And, I've done that. Actually, I shot my first AI movie about 7 months ago. And it was all on green screen. It's a great challenge as an actor because you've got to endow everything. You've got your eye lines, and you've got to endow who you're speaking to and what you're doing and who's where and all that. So it's a great challenge as an actor. I'm hoping that's not going to be the wave of the future, because that's going to really be bad for filmmaking, in my opinion. Some people think, it's going to be great. But as a challenge as an actor, it was really great. And I shot out in one 12-hour day, but it was a lot of work and a lot of, I trained for that, with my studio, Anthony Gilardi's acting studio. We trained for this kind of stuff, and it really came in handy. But let's hope that's not the wave of the future.
Yeah. Well, an important thing to understand, you need to register your likeness your whole being, and you can register with the government. So this way someone can't duplicate you and be selling you somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so you now can actually register your whole
Okay.
likeness, your look, and everything, because people otherwise will use AI to duplicate.
I've already seen it. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, that somebody snagged my likeness. I've already seen it. So,
Well, the thing is,
debrief on that with me later.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a company called Hollow AI.
Okay.
And they help you register and everything. Then also they have a program that it goes everywhere in the world on the internet. And if it finds someone that's utilizing your voice or your image or likeness in any way, it tracks down and destroys it.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what they're doing now. They're offering people here, you want to protect your IP? They actually send it like a heat-seeking missile to go. They'll identify exactly where. They'll show you how they're doing commercials with you in Europe somewhere, or using your music for a commercial, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
But they took the AI, duplicated, and put it with some kind of movie or commercial, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they're able to track that. It knows from all the coding, anything that has your voice, it'll heat within seconds.
Wow.
And that's what it'll help protect. Yeah, and it's totally cool stuff. Because today there's these apps where you can say, hey, do you want George Clooney to say happy birthday to you or whatever? Or have a picture of George Clooney with you hanging out like buddies.
Wow.
They're going to be cracking down on that.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that shit, you know?
Let's
But now,
hope so.
what's your take on how AI is affecting the music industry?
Well, it's going to ruin it. You know, I don't know. Everybody's going to their whatever that is,
ChatGPT,
GBT, and doing that. But you know, it's just not real. The sad part is there's some kid over there in Van Nuys that's writing a smash hit song in his bedroom that is never gonna. No one's ever gonna hear it. You know, because you can go to ChatGPT and say, I want something like this and like that. But, you know, it's still artificial. I don't think it will have the soul and the heart of the music that we've all grown up on in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. You know, it just won't have that. And in my opinion, it's just going to ruin it.
I'm on the same page. The only thing that I did like what they did with AI was to finish that demo, the Beatles song. It came out really good.
Right.
It was beautiful. But I know that there was a lot of it was John Lennon, Harrison, and Ringo was in there, but they had to finish it.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
That I can understand.
Sure.
But not to create music. When an artist like you want to hear their passion, their love that's put into that work.
There's something about humans that are vibing together and playing together. It's just the heart of it, and I can tell immediately when it's there and when it's not. You know, and some people can't. You know, and I see people. You know, God bless them at these raves and dancing to stuff, and they're having a great time and everything. But I'm like, you know, I asked somebody one time. I go, "What do you think is real on that track?" And they go, "What do you mean?" I go, "What do you think is actually real on that track?" No, well, the music and everything is just a loop that was created. You know, the only thing that's really art about it is that somebody took a bunch of things that were already creative and put them together. So in a sense, that's art. But was there anything living and breathing and had heart on that track? No, there wasn't. So I know the difference immediately.
Yeah. Well, I truly hope that you continue doing this for as long as you possibly can, brother, because I hate to see you stop.
Hey, you know, I'll never stop. And I see a lot of talented kids coming up that are like-minded, and they're out there paying their dues, and I respect that. I see these young kids that are, you know, I mean, growing up, we put the needle back on the record, you know, and now they've got YouTube and they've got everything to learn, which is a beautiful, great tool to do. You know, we used to have to put the needle back, and, you know, now there's all these tools to make that a lot easier. But I do see a younger generation of kids really trying to put in the work, and I try to help them along. I try to empower our youth. I think that's something that's really important, is empowering these kids, because they're the ones that are going to keep this AI thing from happening, and if we can encourage them and empower them to write songs and really work on their craft, then we can have a generation of more heartfelt music.
I watch America's Got Talent and a few of those other shows, The Voice. I gotta say, there's been kids on there. They were like 14, 12, 8 years old, 16 years old, with amazing voices.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no question.
So I feel like, wow, we still have these beautiful young people creating music.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they keep doing it, AI will still be what AI is. But when you hear a young girl that's like 12 years old singing like Adele,
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
breathtaking.
Yeah.
It's different when you see a physical person performing. Then you can hear it and you know it's AI generated. Yeah. I'm so on the same page. And I love watching it, these shows, because and every type of size, shape. Sometimes there's a guy, he's 65 years old. The guy could jam on a guitar and sing his heart out. Mm-hmm. And the audience is screaming and yelling. It's so beautiful to watch.
It is. And at the same time, that's good TV. There's still something about, somebody that went out and sweated it out on the Warped Tour for 2 years and busted their asses and slept in a van with 5 smelly other musicians, and just earned their stripes. And to me, that's what's real. I don't know, a minute and a half on a TV show, you're not going to have that experience of being out there and had played 50 cities and ate ramen noodles and sweated it out, with your bandmates. And there's something that happens when you put in that kind of commitment.
Well, also you feel like you earned it.
Oh yeah.
So when you get to that point, like you have, man, I worked my ass off. I worked for practically nothing for so long, right? And gave up so much to get to where you are. Yeah. It does something here. Yeah. You're right. A lot of these kids, you discover on a show, takes off. They never performed in a bar.
Right.
They never roughed it.
Nope.
They got $1 million contract and they're 14 years old.
Yeah. And they're owned by the network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like I said, it's a different business model these days, and nothing wrong with it. I'm happy there's talented kids out there that want to keep this thing going,
Yeah, I was just, like I said, blown away by their incredible talent.
Oh God, yes.
They're so young. I mean,
yes.
I mean, their voices are angelic, and it just reminds me when I was a kid, and I told my mother and father I wanted to be in the school band. So my mother goes, go ahead. So they gave me an instrument to practice. It was a violin at school. So I was in the porch of our house, lived in Westchester County in the suburbs, and I'm playing the violin, or trying to play the violin. My father comes home. He was construction worker. He was tired. And he goes to my mother, what the hell's all that noise? That screeching noise. So Michael, when you be in the band, school band, he's got to figure out what instrument he is. Tell him if he doesn't stop, I'm going to break that damn thing. So then I brought it back and I said to the teacher, I said, my mother and father weren't too happy. I don't think the violin's for me. And he said, well, all we got is this. It was like a little black, like flute, when you're in school with the music. So I came home with it and I started playing it. And my mother comes over, Mike, maybe you want to play sports. I don't think the music is for you. So I know for a fact I have no musical talent. And boy, I tried to sing.
Yeah.
My father had a fit. Enough. Go play a sport.
He was done.
Not for you. So I know you have to have some ability. I had zero music, but That's why I admire what you do, because I tried.
Yeah.
I tried once to play the piano. It just wasn't me, But I love listening to people like yourself. It's just beautiful. But for me, I know that I don't have that, because I know you have to have some ability, And I know if you get trained, you can do it. But I was, to be honest with, this is not what I'd say meant to do, And of course, I found my direction, which was a good thing.
Absolutely.
But I did try it, So at least I know. Well, I did try.
Yeah.
And I think it's a point you try everything, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay.
That's right. Yeah, you find your path. Music and acting are the only two things I ever stuck with, And I played sports too, and really enjoyed that. But I realized that these are the two things that I'm passionate about. I'm lucky, at almost 60 to still be doing both of them.
You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you have kids?
I do.
How many kids?
One daughter and a grandson. Yeah.
Wow. How old's your daughter?
She's 40. My grandson's 17.
Wow.
Yeah, he's taller than I am now. He's like getting ready to go back and see them for a week in the Midwest, where I'm from, Indiana.
What's your daughter doing?
She works in the power industry. Yeah, like she coordinates all the crews that go out, and when things go haywire, the crews go out and fix them. And she's been in the power industry for a long time. Yeah.
And your grandson?
He's gonna be a sophomore in high school, into sports, football and track and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Very lucky, man. Very blessed.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Well, Sean, I got to thank you for coming on. And
thank you, Michael. I appreciate you.
It's been a wonderful conversation.
Really
real
has.
Talk.
Yeah.
And I know that I will continue to think of some potential opportunities for you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
That I'll speak to some of the producers for you.
Thank you.
Also, maybe do you do scoring for music for films?
Yeah, I scored my first feature.
Yeah, maybe turn you on some of that too.
I do that, and I found it very rewarding. I'll never do it without an assistant again, but because it was thousands of hours of work beyond everything else that we did for our movie. But it turned out pretty well. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out so I can send it to a few people, because I really feel that music is very important.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially with a movie or TV show, especially when you get to some emotional scenes.
Oh, yeah.
It gets you into that.
It's another character.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna go do arms, because we gotta keep up with you, and I got a long way to go.
You're doing fine, brother. I want to thank you for watching the show, and please, if you have anybody you care about, share this episode. Sean's journey is incredible, and just what he shared about the music industry, you got to do for the love of music.
That's right.
Not for the fame, because that's fleeting. It's not the important part. The important part is do something with your life with purpose. And subscribe to YouTube. We need your support. Thank you for watching.